To start, I have to start from the beginning. So most of y'all know my life hasn't always been the easiest, and hold on, hasn't always been the easiest. But August 17th, 2019 was my 18th birthday. You know, you'd think you'd be happy it's your birthday, you know, yay. It was the worst day of my life. I got a card from my grandmother, and it wasn't a happy birthday card. It was a card that basically said, it's time to go. You can't stay here anymore. So, on my 18th birthday, I got kicked out, and I had nowhere to go. I stopped going to school because I couldn't afford to go to school. I had to stay in a homeless shelter for 2 weeks. I finally reached out to somebody at school to see if I can get some help. I reached out to my counselor, and he even cried for me, and I hate when people feel bad for me. So I thought I couldn't talk to anybody. I got separated from my sisters. They got kicked out too. They got put back in the foster system. I felt like my life was just falling apart. I've always been there for them. I'm like their role model. I'm their mom, and I love them so much. I stopped going to school because people kept asking me, where have you been, where have you been? And I was too embarrassed to tell them that. I can't really give you an answer. Like, who wants to tell them, oh, I've been at the homeless shelter? So then I started texting Tamara, and I started telling her about my situation. And she was like, if you need a place to stay, I can come get you right now. And I just felt so loved. So then I started to come to church again, and then retreat was around the corner. And I was like, I'm gonna go. So I went, and when I got there, people were like, you needed this because I know you're really stressed out and going through a lot. I mean, I work 3 jobs, go to school, own my own place, and I'm only 18. When I got there, I could hear God talking to me, but I was like, I couldn't really understand. Like, I was too distracted. But then, when they were worshiping, I closed my eyes, and all I kept hearing from God was forgive. And I was like, how can I forgive? Forgive who? He was like, forgive your grandmother, it's time. He said, you can't walk through my gates if you have hatred in your heart. And I said, well, at first I was like, are you for real? No, you for fake? No, you for real. Okay. So, I got a call, and I went into the bathroom, and I answered that call, and my sister basically called me, and she said that my grandmother had put her back in the system. And after that, I just broke down in tears, and I had talked to Amore, and she made me cry. She was like, I had told her what had happened, and she was like, I told her I felt like I failed my siblings because I made a promise to them that I couldn't keep. And Amore said, it's not your fault. And at first I was like, it's my fault. And she was like, I know you may think it's your fault, but I promise you it's not your fault, because you may not always be able to be there for them, but God's going to be there for them. And God's going to be there for you. And that made me feel really good. Also, a couple months back, I went to a church, and I really just laid it all out. And for the first time, I started speaking in tongue. And basically, that's my spirit talking. Me and God are having a conversation. So at retreat, I felt like it was just a feeling that my spirit wanted to talk, but I didn't know like if people would think I was weird for doing that, so I just contained it. And then a random person from the side I was mumbling, and he came over to me, and he was like, don't hold it in. So then I went into the corner and I just started speaking in tongues. My spirit just, it just took over. And then what was it? It was, okay, I was praying when we were worshiping on Saturday night. And then a random person came up to me and was praying over me. And she said, I don't know why, but God wants me to tell you that your legacy is about to begin. You're about to be the change in someone's life. And I just found that kind of funny because, you know, my siblings haven't really been the best, but I haven't been the best role model these couple of months. I disappeared on them, and I started doing bad things that aren't things you would do if you were, you know, a believer of God. So I kept hearing change. People kept coming up to me and say, God wants me to tell you that he seeks a change in you, that you're going to change someone else's life. And I couldn't help but think that he was coming up to me saying that I was about to be the change in my siblings' life, that I needed to change my ways so that they could change theirs, because they look up to me as if I'm a role model. Then Tamara came over to me, and she basically prayed for me. And I closed my eyes, and I heard God say, I'm going to grant you with a gift. I realized my purpose now. My whole life I went through the struggle. I used to think God does not exist. The devil is chasing after me. But when I opened my eyes, I saw angels around everybody. They had their hands on everybody's shoulder. And I couldn't help but think, why are you showing me this? He said, I want you to be my seer. I didn't know what to do. I told Tamara, I said, I don't know if this is weird. Like, I don't know, like, if I'm just seeing things. But even when we were at our discussion group, Eclipse, I saw God look into the room, like as if he took, you know, a cookie jar and you take the top off. It's as if he was checking up on everyone. And he just wanted to say that you guys were so loved. And he said, you're loved, Kariaye. You may be going through this right now, but I promise you, everything's gonna be okay. I may not have parents in my life or any family at all, but I have God. That's all.